Hello, and welcome to everything you need to know about a dehumidifier. I have my lovely assistant here, which is the 12-litre Devola dehumidifier, along with its 20-litre brother just here as well. So we're going to get straight to it, straight into the questions. There's quite a few of them. They're hefty. And the first one is, what does a dehumidifier do? Well, that's an easy one. A dehumidifier removes moisture from the air around you to lower the relative humidity. Which leads me on to question number 2. What is relative humidity? So this one's a little bit more complicated. Now, in its simplest terms, relative humidity is the amount of atmospheric moisture in the air around you. If you've ever been on holiday where there's like large bodies of water, lakes, the ocean, swamps, like Florida, and it gets particularly warm and sticky, that's because there's a high relative humidity in the air. Next question. Why would you want to reduce relative humidity in your home? So besides just general comfort, having high humidity in your home can be bad for 2 reasons. One, it can aggravate some medical conditions that you may have, asthma. It can also be problematic for your house, as mold and mildew thrive in sort of damp environments. And when they take hold on your home, they can damage the structural integrity, all manner of things. You don't really want it. It becomes a major issue if you've got it. Too much humidity is not a good thing. How does a dehumidifier prevent mold and mildew? Well, in short, a dehumidifier will create conditions that make it hard for mold and mildew to thrive or even grow. For example, their spores thrive in environments with high moisture. And what does one of these do? Removes moisture. Where does too much relative humidity come from? Literally everything. There is 37.5 billion gallons of water just in the air around you. Roughly 4.5 litres per gallon. Someone in the comments can do the maths of how many litres that is. It's quite a lot. So everything you do, from cooking, from having a shower, me breathing while I'm talking to you, creates moisture in the air. And in some places, it's higher than others just based on the weather. So one of these will bring all of that out and just lower it back down again to a much more comfortable level. Which then leads me on to the next one, which is what is the ideal humidity of your home? So the comfortable level of humidity in a house is roughly between 45 and 55%. And luckily, these will tell you exactly what that is. On top of here right now, it's 69%. That wasn't on purpose. And that's indicated by a red circle just here. So when it's above 65%, it will be red. When it's between 45 and 65, it'll be green. And when it's below 45, it'll go blue. Next question. What size dehumidifier do you need? Well, that entirely depends on the size of the space that you're trying to dehumidify. For a small home or an individual room, we recommend the trusty 12-litre right here. And for larger homes and spaces, we recommend the 20-litre. We do have larger units as well, so if there's an even bigger space, we do have a 25-litre too. How long does a dehumidifier take to work? Now, technically speaking, it will start working immediately. From me turning this on a couple of moments ago, we're already down to 60%. It started at 69%. So it does happen pretty much immediately. But it also depends on the condition of the room that you're in. So an example of that is if you've just jumped out the shower and you want to lower the humidity, turn it on, it will start doing it straight away. But if you're in a room where you've been boiling pasta for a while, it'll take a little bit longer because there's obviously more of it in the room and it's a consistent amount coming through. But ultimately, it all boils down to what the atmospheric conditions are. Can a dehumidifier dry clothes? Now, the short answer to this one is ice cream! Didn't have any ice cream. Who doesn't have ice cream? They're playing an ice cream sound music. The short answer to this is yes, they can. The longer answer to this is that a dehumidifier will create a more cost-effective way of drying your clothes as opposing to using something like a tumble dryer. Dehumidifiers like ours, which have a laundry mode, will gradually suck the moisture out of damp clothes while they're hanging on a rack, for example. But of course, the drawbacks to this are it does take longer to do than in a tumble dryer. A tumble dryer will also soften your clothes just because of the motion, whereas of course this one doesn't. However, it is considerably cheaper to do with a dehumidifier than a tumble dryer. Which again leads me on to the next question. It's like I planned it. Do they cost a lot to run? No, not really at all, to be honest. They're so much cheaper than a tumble dryer. I have some facts for you, or some figures. So for example, our 12-litre dehumidifier runs at about 185 watts. We have our 20 back here, which runs at about 370 watts, whereas the power draw for a tumble dryer is 2.5 kilowatts at a minimum. Over 10 times the amount of one of these. So for 1 hour of a tumble dryer, you can run this for at least 10. So it's considerably cheaper. Can I use the water that collects in the water tank? The jury's out about this one. There's a lot of contradicting theories about whether you can or cannot. We go towards the side of caution and just say, just pour it down the sink. Other people say that you can water your plants with it or wash a very, very specific part of your car, but ultimately, for safety's sake, you can just pour it down the drain. Do not drink it. Just don't do that. It's stupid. Don't do it. I've told you now. No. Okay. Where is the best place to put my dehumidifier? If you're trying to reduce damp in a room, it should go in the room. But if you're trying to reduce humidity in a house, it's good to use one of our larger units and place it near to or just inside of the room which causes the most, so i.e. kitchen or just outside of a bathroom. This thing is still on, by the way. It's down to 52 now from 69. That's, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. What is the difference between compressor and a desiccant dehumidifier? Boy, am I glad you asked me this one. So a compressor dehumidifier, like ours here, will suck in the air from the back, run it over some condenser cords, which is like a refrigerator effectively, and it will separate the water down to the tank and then pump out the drier air out the top. Now, a desiccant dehumidifier works a little bit differently. It still sucks in air the same way these ones do, but it runs it over a wheel covered in a desiccant material, which effectively absorbs the moisture from the air, and that will pump it down through to the base and extract the air out the top. How much water does the unit remove? Well, that depends on the power of the dehumidifier and what the relative humidity in the room is. How often do I have to empty the dehumidifier? So you could be emptying it every couple of days or every couple of weeks. It really depends on the conditions that you're in. Our 12-litre dehumidifier holds about 2 litres of water, which is quite a lot, which I shall now demonstrate. But first I need to move my laptop because obvious reasons. Okie dokie. So, as I said, 2 litres of water is quite a lot of water. So I'm going to pour it in this jug here and maybe even our Happy Summer bucket. Okay, 2 litres of water. Meant to do that. That, plus what's on the desk, is 2 litres of water. I knew that was gonna happen. Just gotta own it and carry on, right? We're not doing that again. I didn't spill any water, you spilled the water. It wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about. It's all right, I'll clean up, cameraman, even though you threw it all over the desk. It's fine, I'll do it. Why are they listed as 12 litres or higher, but only hold 2 to 4 litres? Because they're actually referring to theoretically how much water they can extract from a space, as opposed to how much they can actually hold. What is continuous drainage, Mr. Cameraman?
It's a tube, innit?
Yeah, pretty much, it is a tube. All of our units come with a tube. Some, i.e. the 20 litres, also come with a HEPA filter, which is nice. This will replace the water tank, so you can have a continuous stream of water coming out the back if there's particularly a lot of it coming through. You can hang that in a larger bucket or out a window. It's up to you. Yeah, you never know. And finally, should I buy a dehumidifier? Well, obviously I can't answer that question for you, but if you'd like the sound of anything that I've explained today that it does, we've popped a link to our 12 litre and our 20 litre down in the comments below, so you can have a good little peruse at your own time. And there we have it. Nearly 20 questions. 18 or 19, I can't remember, I lost count halfway through. Again, if this video has been very helpful for you, please don't forget to give us a good old-fashioned like, and of course subscribe. And if you have any further questions based on these dehumidifiers or any questions in general, pop them in the comments below, and we'll do our best to get back to you. And we'll see you very soon. Thank you.